So we recently received a new gameplay trailer for MindsEye, and if you haven't been following the title, it's the game being developed by Build a Rocket Boy Studio, a studio led by former Rockstar developers, including such as the big name Leslie Benzies. At first glance, it genuinely looks promising. The driving mechanics seem solid, the open world appears detailed and lively, and the cutscenes and gunplay, well, perhaps not the best in the world, still look quite incredible. It's clear that this game is incredibly ambitious. But that ambition might be the biggest problem as well. Social media has been buzzing about the trailer, with many people saying things like "this looks awesome, I'm definitely pre-ordering it," or "this will hold me over until Grand Theft Auto 6 releases." And this is exactly why I want to make this video. For all of the excitement, I actually want to issue quite some of the warnings that I'm noticing with this game. Now, if you're thinking about getting this game, or at least even, pre-ordering it, maybe hold off and listen to this video. So, for $60, what you'll be getting here doesn't exactly make a lot of sense. Let me explain. There are red flags everywhere, multiple preview events, reports from within the studio, and even strange accusations made by Build a Rocket Boy themselves painting a troubling picture. Some executives have gone as far as to accusing YouTubers and critics like being secretly paid off to make the game look bad. It's quite a wild claim indeed. It only adds to chaos surrounding this project. I want to break down a few things here that we're noticing, and because the story is anything but simple. So, back in 2022, Build a Rocket Boy unveiling their vision at the Gamescom, and the reveal, initially was a little bit confusing. The trailer showcased bright, cartoony environments and promising a platform full of different gameplay styles. It seemed like kind of a mix between Roblox and Fortnite, but with a more cinematic, presentation. At its core, it was meant to be a platform called Everywhere, a hub where players could jump into different game types, from racing to shooters to platformers, and even create and share their own games. One of those games within Everywhere was MindsEye. Yes, MindsEye wasn't supposed to be a standalone title. It was designed as a game you could buy and play inside of the Everywhere platform. Now, think of it like buying a premium game inside of Fortnite Creative. Their ambition was clear. They wanted Everywhere to become a massive ecosystem, with MindsEye as one of their main attractions. They even titled early titles Everywhere MindsEye, clearly showing the game's connection to the larger platform. You buy into Everywhere and then access MindsEye from within it. But perhaps, and unknowingly why, something has changed. Fast forward to today, and MindsEye is being sold as a standalone title. And so why? Likely because Build a Rocket Boy, perhaps maybe they're running out of money. That's not exactly speculation, there are signs everywhere. Following a private alpha test of Everywhere in late of 2023, Build a Rocket Boy laid off staff across publishing, QA, and art departments in their offices around the world. Now, layoffs happening in the industry all the time, but the timing is quite suspicious. The alpha ends, and soon after, people are losing their jobs. It suggests that alpha did not exactly go well, and internally things aren't exactly looking great either. And despite this, the studio pushed forward, and now MindsEye has a release date of June 10th and just a little less than 2 weeks to go. But the Everywhere platform barely mentioned anymore. It seems like they're quietly walking away from the grand vision, at least for now. And in this place, they're heavily promoting MindsEye on its own, highlighting features like powerful PC-only editor tool that lets players build missions, adds NPCs, sets up logic systems, and more. That tool genuinely looks cool, sure, but again, it's all separated from Everywhere now. That's a massive pivot from the original plan. Now, let's touch on and talk about the previews, because this is where things get really concerning. One of the major, and actually there are a lot of those sorts of YouTubers, such as, for example, Mr. Matty Plays, got to attend a preview session. And the way Build a Rocket Boy Studio handled these previews is not only unusual, it was kind of alarming in fact. First off, the previews wasn't a hands-on experience. The creators didn't get to play the game themselves, not even via a remote streaming setup like maybe GeForce Now. Instead, they were asked to join a Microsoft Teams call and watch someone else at the studio play a pre-recorded gameplay session. That's already unusual for a game this close to launch. And what's even worse, the creators weren't allowed to record anything themselves. No local capture, no safe stream. They were only allowed to use B-roll footage provided by the publisher. And with that sort of footage, unsurprisingly, didn't include any of the bugs or technical issues shown in the previews. That's the same tactic CD Projekt Red actually used for Cyberpunk 2077 before its release. And we all remember how that went. But it gets kind of even worse. And basically during their preview, the studio employees demonstrated the game had to turn on invincibility mode, twice in fact, just to get through the missions without dying. But why? Because the game was unbalanced and buggy that they literally couldn't finish the mission normally. This wasn't some internal QA tests during the development. This was a media preview, a presentation designed to make a game look as good as possible, and just 2 weeks before launch. And yet they had to do these sorts of things in front of everyone, at least that are watching the gameplay. Think about that. If the developers showing the game off to media can't finish missions without turning on a God mode, what does that say about the game's current state? It genuinely means that it's not ready. It says the game probably needs a delay. But in this case, why aren't they delaying this game? Because again, they probably just can't afford it. Everything points to this being a Hail Mary, a desperate push to get something out the door and make back some of the money that they spent building this massive, overly ambitious platform. And of course, don't forget, MindsEye is still being sold for $60, not a premium 70 or 80, but still a full-priced release. And for that, they're claiming the campaign will last around 15 hours. 15 hours of gameplay in a buggy, unstable state with no guarantee that what's coming next. No one's denying that the team at the Build a Rocket Boy is indeed very talented. These are the people who helped build some of the greatest open world games ever made. But this project is not shaping up to be the next GTA. It's shaping up to be another case of studio aiming too high and perhaps even missing the mark. Just to sum it up, MindsEye is an ambitious project from a promising studio. But right now, all signs point to a game just that isn't exactly ready. The development history, the pivot from everywhere platform, the layoffs, the preview restrictions, and the bugs all raise huge red flags. Now, of course, if you're excited about this game, that's totally understandable. But I'd seriously advise you to hold off of pre-ordering it and wait for the real reviewers, at least that you trust. Wait for the actual gameplay footage from people who aren't restricted by this B-roll footage. And most importantly, don't just spend your money needlessly, because it looks like MindsEye might be not exactly a game that everyone should pick up straight away on day one. But nevertheless, guys, this is just my more or less of a skeptical look towards MindsEye. This gameplay presentation genuinely looked interesting, but there are quite a few red flags that I am indeed concerned about. At that, do let me know as well down in the comments, what do you think about MindsEye? Are you interested in this game? Are you excited? Maybe you're very comprehensive about it. Nevertheless, thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys all, and have a wonderful day.